it's Mike from Mike's Random Thoughts, and this is just an off-the-top episode, okay? Now, a while back, I decided to write an article to release on my show blogs. Now, after thinking about it, I decided that I'm going to make an off-the-top episode with it before I release it on the blogs. So, with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and get into the article that I wrote. So we're living in a very bizarre time period of history right now. I mean, people are getting tired and they're very angry. I mean, you can't escape the madness. It's everywhere you look. I mean, it's on your television, it's on the movies, it's on the radio. I guarantee you it's on social media, and it's on our cities and towns on billboards, park benches, and every which other way. I mean, right now, majority of Americans, majority of people across the globe even, are reporting having to work anywhere between 1 to 4 jobs. Now, what this does is, it leaves them hardly no time with their families, friends, or let alone even rest to themselves, okay? So basically what's going on is they're having to work 1 to 4 jobs. So they're coming home, getting on their next work outfit, hopping something in the microwave, maybe resting their feet for a minute, and it's out the door they go to the next job. Now, basically what this does is it creates an atmosphere of people being overworked, and eventually they're going to become emotionally and mentally exhausted. And when that happens, they're going to explode. For instance, I find it interesting at the beginning of all of this madness, just a couple years ago, I said people's true colors will eventually shine through. I said that they're going to bottle up and eventually it will slowly leak out and they are just going to explode. Now that I'm looking at the last couple of years to where we are currently, I feel like, hold on a second. I feel like we're actually right there. I mean, I was actually correct. Their true colors are shining through. I mean, an example of that would be, I have seen borderline and flat out racist and anti-Semitic comments on different posts and my own social media show blogs, and on the internet in general and other people's, individual pages as well. So, and these are people that I've gotten to know, and yet I had no clue how they actually felt about different races or Jewish people. I just didn't know. And that's actually what prompted me to actually write out this kind of public PSA for probably the second time on this show's history. See, I'm actually known to be very lenient on what people say and on my own posts and on, different things in general. If I post something, I'm lenient on what people say about it. I'm known for that. I'm also known to be very taboo, bizarre, and things like that in the past. So I'm very lenient on those things. However, this is due to me believing in, free speech and expression. However, some of this is just flat out anti-Semitic and racist that I've seen, and this is going on for the past year. It's just getting worse now, it seems like. It's getting more active, I guess. So, I often don't publicly, and I should say anymore when I say this, but I really, not anymore do I really publicly talk about my family, and this is due to safety reasons. In this atmosphere that we're living in nowadays, it's just, I don't feel like it's safe to show your kids that much to the public, and it's like it was in the old days. It's just not safe anymore. So, however, I want people to keep in mind of something that I don't feel like people remember too often. My wife is actually a minority woman. She is Black, Puerto Rican, and Native, okay? So my son is Black, Puerto Rican, and Native as well. And my other 2 kids are actually Mexican. And I actually have personal friends of mine that live in Israel and different countries in Africa, Jamaica, and other countries as well. So basically what happened was I decided I need to write this out because people have forgotten that. And I got family members that do look at my stuff, So I decided, how am I going to respond to this? You know what I mean? And keep in mind what I just said. So this is my first time ever in podcasting and doing blog that I actually felt like deleting comments. And I did try to avoid that and go a different route, but I didn't record this fast enough. So I have deleted one since I've written this, okay? So I want you to keep in mind of something. Yes, it is true that I am anti-BLM. I think BLM, NFACC, Antifa, the Black Panthers, and other groups are just domestic terrorists. They're just like the Klan. They skinheads. They just have a different uniform on. So they're all racist, and they just have different outfits. They all want the same things. They just have slightly different dogma. So I'm against them. However, and like I just wrote out, and when they organize, yes, it is known for me to call them a domestic terrorist group because that's what they are being. Now, because they are, like I just said, it is not the same way as flat out being racist. So that doesn't make me racist and okay with racist terminology or anti-Semitic comments. It's not the same thing, okay? It doesn't make me okay with that. It just means I'm against those groups because I think those groups are the same thing as what those other groups are. They're all the same thing. They're all wanting separation, destruction, and they all want to be more powerful than the other groups. They're all racist dogma. It's just different dogma depending on whatever race they are, but they're all the same thing to me. If once you put a race in front of your group, you lose all respect for me, flat out. So, anyways. Because, like I just wrote out, I don't support anti-Semitism and I don't support racism at all either. So, I've actually stood against racism and anti-Semitism forever. And I always will, as far as I can see. And I want you to keep in mind that I have many Jewish friends and minority friends, like I said. So it just, I cannot in good conscience actually support certain comments anymore. Nor will I ever after it was brought to my attention in the way it was. So my life, in my lifetime, almost all the messed up things that has happened to me was actually done by white men and white women in some form or way, including skinheads. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's true. I've gotten into fights and groups and different things, with different groups. I roll with like minority groups in my history, you know what I'm saying? Drinking and, doing drugs and things like that. That's hood things. It's not the same thing as these other groups. You get what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to say right there. It's just not the same thing. I've actually had physical racist attacks done to me. I was actually jumped by a group of skinheads before, and they basically left me to die in a park. And woke up with blood just dried across my face. But anyways. Sorry, it's just hard for me to even reread some of this. So, I have had racist comments thrown at me. I've had racist comments thrown at me before because of the fact that I do get dark in the summertime. So I have been called Spig. Back when 9/11 happened, people compared Bin Laden and said he looked like he could be my uncle or my father. You know what I'm saying? Or some family member. Yeah. So anyways, that's basically, I just went on and on for a second about it. I was rereading what I wrote. And I've had all of these different type of comments thrown at me before. Even recently, even at a job, even recently, I was asked if I'm fucking Jewish in that violent of tone. Not even but a year ago. So I've had anti-Semitic comments thrown at me. I've had racist comments thrown at me. And I have actually been jumped and left to die in a park by skinheads before. And I've gotten into altercations with different racist white people as well, off and on, in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? And again, majority of the conflicts I've even had, or issues I've actually had at different jobs, majority of the time, they were with Caucasian people. Majority of the time. So, and I've really spent a long time thinking about this before I wrote this out. So, and honestly, I've even had a couple, ex-girlfriends that were white that actually legally tried to get me caught up. Kind of think about it, the last 3 of them, it was that long ago, but they tried to get me caught up legally. So, you know what I'm saying? Again, that goes back to almost all the negative experiences I've had has been with my own nationality. You know what I'm saying? Against me. So I've always stood against racism, and I've always stood against that kind of stuff. So I don't know why anybody would think anything different within myself, but I will never support that type of stuff. And again, I like to throw that stuff out there just so people know. In my experience in my lifetime, it's been a total opposite. My own people have done me dirty more than anybody else. So, again, as I have stated numerous times already, I mainly have only dated minority women my whole life. And majority of the time, they were from other countries. They were not American. They were foreign women. Um, and I've only been with a couple of white girls in my lifetime. And even that's including school crushes that I had. My very first, I just found this out by my mother not too long ago, my biological mom. My very first school crush I ever had was with a little Asian girl. So I guess you could say that I had my likes at a young age, considering that was my first childhood crush. So I think that I am very misunderstood, it seems, nowadays. Because of my stances of being so strongly against BLM and so strongly against the Panthers and so strongly against these different groups, I think people have misunderstood my standpoint and where I stand at. See, yes, I am against corporations and big banks. And I have made it very clear that I feel like you should be watchful of the government right now. And I actually believe in small business. Very true. I do. Yes, I am anti-BLM, anti-Antifa, and anti-Panthers. I'm also anti-LGBT, and I am pro-life. And I've stated over and over again, spiritually, I disagree with the LGBT lifestyle. However, as an American, I feel like you should have the right to be with whoever you want to be with, okay? However, yes, I am against the trans lifestyle and the push right now that is going on within America. That's not the same thing. You get what I'm saying? I believe that you should have the right to be with whoever you want to be with, but no, I do not believe that you have the right to shove it down everybody's throat. I don't believe that you have the right to teach people this stuff in schools. I don't believe that it's right to put it in television. I don't think that it's right to put it in movies. I don't think it's right to be putting it in music, books, or even thing like that. That's encouraging children, directed and written out for children. I don't think I don't think that's acceptable behavior. I don't think that's okay. And drag shows have no business being anywhere near children whatsoever. So yes, all of that stuff is true. I'm against all that stuff. But even still, that does not make me okay with all this other stuff. And yes, I am very America First agenda. I have been since the start of America First. And I plan on continuing to be America First driven. So again, none of that makes me okay with racism. I'm against it in all forms, no matter what shade or color it's actually coming from. Meaning, yes, I've had racist comments directed at me, even from minority people as well. I dated a lot of different girls, okay? And a lot of their dads did not like me dating their daughters, along with some other family members of theirs sometimes. Either way, okay? At a job once, I mean, like I just said, a coworker noticed that I had a Jewish star showing support of Israel at the time, and asked me in a violent tone if I'm effing Jewish. Now, I actually saw a certain rose design that's associated with a certain group that I'm against. So I told him, let me put it like this. If I seen a group of Jews or a Jew being jumped by a group of people dressed all in black, I'm going to jump in and defend the Jew without a second thought. That individual actually got upset, you could tell, and he jumped in his whip and bounced out. Just drove off. Well, he was getting a ride from somebody, but they drove off. But yeah, I wasn't too happy at that response. But I still say that to this day. Now, this is due to the fact, again, I have friends in Israel. Even in high school, one of my best friends was Jewish and black. And he had family in Israel. So even in high school, like I knew about Hanukkah because my best friend was Jewish. And I knew a lot about their culture. So now, again, you add this all with my now Christian faith. I'm gonna defend Israel against anti-Semitism and defend Israel as far as my faith goes without a second thought, okay? And I want you to keep in mind of something. I don't think people realize there's multiple different factions of Jewish people, okay, within a Jewish population. Even within a Jewish community, other Jewish groups fight with other Jewish groups because it used to be tribalistic. So I don't think a lot of people understand that either. Whenever they seem to think that all Jews are one type of Jew, and there's many different type of Jewish people. But you constantly only see one type shown. But believe me, there's multiple different forms of Jews out there. Okay, it's not just that one form. Now, I actually find the fact that there's so much anti-Semitism going on right now, and it's very flat out openly. Like, even since I haven't been doing like podcasting for a minute, I just stuck to blogging for a while, took a little break off of here. But anyways, I've noticed that the growth of anti-Semitism is actually getting way worse. It's getting more rampant. It's getting more open. Like, people are just like okay with saying something. You would almost think like we're borderlining almost a World War II era with people's comfort level with actually being anti-Semitic, as well as being racist. I mean, it was during those turbulent years that a lot of that stuff was actually ongoing problems. So I want you to keep in mind, I'm against human trafficking going on across the globe as well. And yes, I am pro for exposing it on every single level as well. I am Blue Lives Matter. That will not change. Yes, I am pro cannabis. I do not think that all drugs should be legalized. In fact, I think that more studies need to be done to replace narcotics with treatment of cannabis. Because I think that far too many people are on medications that they don't need. America, for instance, the nation that I live at, we are the most overly medicated society in the world. It is common knowledge that Americans are pharmaceutical happy. I'm going to move on to that in just a second, okay? I do not think that cocaine, ecstasy, acid, shrooms, or anything like that should be legal whatsoever. And yes, I do support traditional marriage. And I will always be a traditional marriage supporter. I am pro-life all the way as well. I am also pro-adoption as well. For instance, if you don't want a kid, I'm pro-adoption. I'm pro those programs that support that. So again, the whole basis for this article has been my standpoints on racism and why to show you that I am not okay with racism or anti-Semitism. I'm okay with free speech to a point. But like I said, some of it is just flat out you're just saying a racist ass comment because you can, basically. Do you get what I mean? And that's what it is. And I find that intriguing and disturbing. Because growing up, it was a total opposite for myself. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I got into fights with different people. I mean, because of the lifestyle that I lived, I was friends with a lot of gang members. I wasn't in a gang, ever. But I was friends with people that were in different gangs. So did I get into fights and altercations? Sure, I got into fights and altercations. But that is far different than the events that I have gone through in my life that were flat out racist. Like I said, I've had anti-Semitic comments thrown at me. I've had racist comments thrown at me. And I've even been left to die in a park by skinheads. There's a nice little scar I have that goes from right here to where they left me to die in the park. So I've always stood against racism, and I've always stood against anti-Semitism, and I always will. Now, I want to clarify something one more time for the third time on this channel. I am anti-trans agenda. I think, yes, as a Christian, I do not support the LGBT lifestyle whatsoever, and I think that there is different ways to go about that, but this is not the episode for that. I've actually done a lot of thinking on this issue, and I might be writing out some thoughts on that. They're going to be kind of one of those episodes I'm going to have to put disclaimers on. But however, yes, I do plan on going into some of that. But however, that's not the same thing either. You got to understand something that see, my wife was I was married into a female strong family. Majority of the guys weren't around. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them had to grow up that way. And I was talking to them about how they feel about it. And they even feel that the trans agenda is an attack on females. And this has been echoed by more than just them. I've asked this question to different females for the past year. And whenever the females are comfortable, time and time again, they tell me over and over again that the trans movement is not pro-female. The trans movement is anti-female. The trans movement is anti-female. It doesn't support females. It takes away from females. Think about all the terminology that they're taking away. That doesn't show support for females. It's actually anti-female. In fact, the new regulations, a lot of it is anti-female. In fact, some of the stuff that's ongoing right now is just inhumane. And I hope that eventually it's going to be found out to be inhumane. For instance, the high suicide rate amongst the youth. Are we ever going to see these clinics that have been suggesting these type of extreme eugenics and hormonal therapy accountable for these suicides that we've seen? It's skyrocketing rates of suicide amongst the youth, and time again, it's rumored to be, because that's what they're reporting, due to regret from their decisions that they made because they were just children. They had no clue what they were doing, but they were pushed into it and coerced. Coerced meaning they were talked to in a way that helped them, nudged them to be okay with it. And then later on, they live life a little bit and find out, whoa, hey, this ain't for me. You get what I'm saying? And then they just off themselves. This is going on at a record rate over and over and over again. So, and I see females all the time that they're mad at the fact that they're taking away from the female community. Did you know that right now, California, they put male inmates in with female inmates, and there's not a clear number right now. I know it was in over the hundreds, though, that I've seen of female inmates that were raped by transgender inmates that were locked up in the female inmate population. So basically what's going on, so take a guy that's in prison that can't cut it in a pen, right? Now y'all know what I'm talking about. Do we need a little quick lesson in red Kool-Aid packets? Enough said, right? So what's going on is they're getting smart and they're going, yo, I can get up out of here. All I got to do is do this, and off to the female prison I go. So they're going over there underneath the guise of being transgender, but then they're raping the females. And this is happening over and over and over again within the female inmate population. You also have skyrocket numbers right now of people that are women that are getting raped in schools by males that identify as trans. I know of 3 different cases, and all of them being high school and junior high. One was junior high, 2 of them were high schools, where they were actually raped by male students claiming to be transgender that were in the bathroom. So originally I said there's going to be major safety concerns for the female population, and that's what they're starting to see. I said that 4 years ago, everybody got upset, but now they're starting to see the problems that I was talking about. It's just common sense problems. Whenever you allow certain behaviors, people are going to take advantage of that situation. I'm sorry, it's a cold world. And that's just a fact of life, folks, and that's what's going on. So these perverts out here and these rapists out here, they're saying, I identify as this, so now I could wear this and I could go in and find my victim in a bathroom. See, a long time ago, and I pointed this out to a female listener and female podcaster a while back. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she did acknowledge that I did have a point. Because I said before, if you're out drinking and you're a female, because, you know, girls would go out for girls' night drinks or something, like when I was growing up. And, you know what I'm saying? The bathroom was like a safe spot for them to go to. If they got into danger, like girls knew they could run into the bathroom and they could probably get help. They can't do that anymore. That's gone. Because all they got to do is say this or that, and they're up in there too. So now we're seeing that problem ongoing and growing as well. So see, it's not that I'm anti-LGBT. I'm anti-trans agenda because I think the trans agenda is an attack on females and it's unsafe for the human population. It's a fetish. It is not a sexual identity. I've already done 2 episodes on LGBT stuff. You could already go back last year, and I believe even like 2 or 3 years prior to that, I did one on LGBT legal rights. I did that one because, you know what I'm saying, like I said, my adopted dad was gay. So I'm not anti-LGBT. Like I said, spiritually, yes. If you ask me as far as a Christian, do I agree with it? No, I don't. I'm saying as far as their right to get married to whoever, sure. You get what I'm saying? But it doesn't give them a right to put it in our kids' cartoons. It doesn't give them a right to put it into the music. It doesn't give them a right to try to tell my child that their ideas are right and my ideas are wrong. We have extremist teachers right now that need to be dealt with. I think that one of the major problems within the education system is the extremist teachers. Not enough is being done to address the extremism within the Department of Education. Think about the Department of Education. Nobody's really talking about the DOE at all, with the exception of what's going on currently with Biden. Okay, with the two classified documents that were found. Yeah, we all know about that. I want to know, is anybody going to hold the Department of Education accountable for allowing, not just CRT, but for allowing the twisted LGBT trans agenda dogma programming books that they're reading to the children? Are they going to hold these teachers accountable that's telling them, hey, I know your parents say this is wrong, but you're in a safe place right now, and as long as you're in my classroom, you're fine. That's what they're telling these kids, that all they got to do is come to the teacher in the school, and the schools will protect them because they have a rights. You get it? Yes, I get it. They should have rights, but parents trump that. We have our kids' best interests at heart, and we don't need teachers and school guidance counselors telling our kids things that should only be discussed with their parents and medical professionals. For instance, if this was the 90s or 80s, common sense would dictate that majority of the stuff that's actually going on, they would be treated. They would be taken to a psychological clinic. They would be taken to a hospital. They'd be taken to a psychologist who would then treat the problem and help them throughout the problem. Now they don't. They're just like, oh, here's a Band-Aid, and by the way, you're actually correct, and you could be this or that. Everybody could be whatever they want to be. It's becoming a very crazy society. So I am anti-trans agenda, but I do believe that they have a right to get married to whoever they want to get married to. But look, this is society we're talking about, okay? It's ridiculous that they could get away with wearing whatever they want to wear with. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, can we get this out of the way real quick? Drag shows and why I'm against them? Because drag shows are nothing but a sexual act. And since when has a sexual act of any kind been okay for children? Are we to believe that kids as young as 6 years old can walk into a strip club and that's perfectly acceptable now? Because one teacher that recently got arrested did. He got in trouble for taking his kids to a strip club. Think about that for a minute. And that's when I say I have issues with the DOE, that's my actual issues. It's within the Department of Education. See, I actually support teachers. I think teachers actually need to be paid more, just like I think police officers need to be paid more for what they do. Police and teachers are two of the most underpaid positions that we actually have. Do not get me wrong. I'm against the Department of Education and against the teacher unions, and the state Department of Education that are supporting all this nonsense. I'm against the fact that so many universities are saying, oh, I know that it's against the law, but we're going to twist it because we found a way to do that. And we're going to do it anyways, whether you like it or not. I don't like the fact that our kids can go to school and get help with getting abortions now. And they don't even have to tell us, by the way, in some states. My state, they do. But in some states, they don't. I don't remember whose channel it was I was on, but I was on somebody else's channel a year or something ago. And I was explaining to them, you better start paying attention to these rules, these new laws, because at the time I was telling them Washington actually drafted a new rule that allowed teachers to be able to help children with transitioning into trans without telling the parents. In fact, the only people the school had to notify was a State Department worker. So since when did the State Department have more say than us with our kids? See, that's our as parents, that's our issue. You got to get our issues correct, because I think a lot of people got us backwards. I think a lot of people think that what we want is two different things, and you know what I'm saying, than what we actually support. Because for myself, it's misunderstood. You get what I'm saying? I got friends of mine that are gay, that many of them are actually married to their partners, and I've known them for years. You get what I'm saying? And they don't even support all of this nonsense, dude. I know one gay guy that was, and he's actually done like cross-dressing shows and all that. You know what I'm saying? And he's even said that the drag shows, there's no business for children to be at a drag show. I've heard women that were members of the LGBT community say children have no business being at a drag show. So these are people that's actually part of these communities saying it. You got to keep that in mind. So in short, this has been an off-the-top episode about basically letting everybody know that if a comment gets deleted, it's because I felt that it was too racist or too anti-Semitic, because it seems that every day or every single week, it just seems like it grows to where people feel like it's okay more and more and more. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm in this like bizarro land, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just looking through this weird lens and I'm just seeing people's true colors. Some of these people I never thought in a million years they're actually like this. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm surprised by people I thought that they might be, and they're not. And then the people that are, I'm like, whoa, left field. Who knew? Do you get what I'm saying? But no, I'm not okay with anti-Semitism. I am not okay with racism whatsoever. And I wanted to clarify some other issues as well. So now you guys know what to expect. This has been a PSA type of announcement, basically, because I do know that, yes, I did delete a comment, and yes, there was a reason behind that. Again, other people than my listeners, they also see stuff as well. Do you get what I mean? I want you to keep that in mind, that I have different family members out there. You get what I mean? And they know how I am. I'm going to support some out there stuff. They know I'm bizarre myself. So, meaning I'm kind of crazy thinking myself, or been known to. So I actually do tolerate a lot more than what most people would. Let's put it like that. Because I've been told before, and I was like, dude, you don't get what they're trying to say, man. You get what I'm saying? And left it alone. But then lately I'm like, good point. Good point. You get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to do what's best for me and for my family right now. I'm 32 minutes in. I'm actually hoping that I got to do some juggling with time, but I might end up releasing 2 of these today. Hold on a second. So now you guys got a little bit more knowledge about Mike's Random Thoughts, about why I'm against these issues. I've always been against these issues, man. It's nothing new to me. I'm just surprised by some of the people I've seen. You get what I'm saying? But now you guys know where I stand on some of these issues as the show continues. Yes, a new season is being planned on rolling out. Look, I'm going to be honest with everybody, man. Time is being sped up so quick, I feel like I can't keep up. And I'm not talking about with here and on my podcast show either, man. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's just being sped up. Like, I can't keep everything. I still got my Christmas tree up. Like, if I turn the camera right over here to the side, you'll see my Christmas tree is still up. Time is just going by quick. It's like as soon as you figure out something, boom, this is tomorrow already. And you're wondering what happened to yesterday. You get what I'm saying? But yes, I'm planning on continuing the show. The show's not going anywhere until the globalists decide to pull the plug on everybody. So it will be sporadic until I get everything figured out. But I already have another episode in works already being planned. And I'm actually in the process of writing out another one. In fact, I got a whole nother notepad to fill up. And this next season, there's no telling what it's going to bring. My next episode, by the way, is going to be a Christian episode. But I recommend everybody listening because, again, I am not that type of person. I recommend everybody listen to it because of the way I bring things. I'll be honest. There's even Christians out there that listen to my stuff that disagree with the stuff I say. Do you get what I mean? So I'm hoping that my episodes can help a lot of people that I know in my own way. You get what I'm saying? Because it's my viewpoints on different things. So my next episode is going to be on why we cannot bargain with God and how I was actually guilty of trying to bargain with God myself. and you guys are going to get to hear about those kind of results. Now, with all that being said, sorry, it's a little bit, we have a cold front going on here in Oklahoma. With all that being said, a new season is being started, so please comment away on everything. If you have a new idea that you want me to look at for the show, let me know. If you're a local person around here and you got an idea for something you want me to cover, let me know and talk to me for a minute about it. Lately, the issue with doing local stuff has been finding ways to get to wherever it is that people wanted me to show. A gentleman from Dewey actually wanted me to do one on a certain mansion in Copan. And I wanted to do it, but I can't find nobody willing to drive me up there. So, just let me know if you have any episode ideas. I'm always willing to take on new episodes, new subject matter. And like I said, I'm not one to shy away from certain issues. You get what I'm saying? I've been known to do very out there subject matter. In fact, to the point to where when I got saved, I actually deleted like 3 or 4 episodes because I thought that they were too out there for even me being a Christian now. I was like, I don't even want that one out there. So that tells you something right there. So, you guys can expect a new season of everything. I don't know if there could be true crime. There's always going to be true crime, spiritual, and social issues. I do plan on going live with people, but to be honest, again, it's time, man. There's times that I've been sitting here at the table and dinner's almost being done as I see like one of my buddies going live. Like, for instance, I seen Dirty Water going live a couple times right in the middle of dinner. You know what I'm saying? And as much as I want to go in there and say what's up, I got to deal with dinner and the kids and, everyday 9 to 5 type of life. So, don't, like, for anybody that's wanting me to come around, don't take it personal. I do plan on coming around as soon as I can. It's just a matter of me trying to find time to fit everything in. And that's the point of this new backdrop I got right here. This is a kind of an emergency backdrop I got. You know what I'm saying? Because this isn't where I'm currently at. This isn't where I normally record at. So, anyways. With that said, this has been Mike for Mike's Random Thoughts. This has been one on racism and why I'm against racism and anti-Semitism, and a little bit insight about myself. So you guys expect the new one to be why you can't bargain in God and how I learned you shouldn't bargain with God. Because again, this has been Mike for Mike's Random Thoughts. Peace to everyone, and let me hear from you soon. I hope to hear from everybody soon. Everybody else, I hope to stop by your channels as soon as I can. I've been keeping an eye on things, or trying to anyways. But again, everybody take care. Peace and good vibes, everybody. Mike out.